Been having some issues. Connect. There we go. Sending data. Love it. Awesome. So we are back. I just wanted to, on that last video, check out the system really quick, make sure everything was good. And so right now, I just wanted to go live, do a AMA kind of thing. Obviously, there was no pomp and circumstance behind this whatsoever. So if you show up and you happen to have some questions, just put them in the comments and I will take care of those things immediately. So what I want to talk about for the most part today will be getting out there. Honestly, it's building your personal brand. I'm going to talk a little bit about where I have been, what's been going on, and how that's relevant to you, because I know there's a lot of folks out there who are, I guess you could call them introverted entrepreneurs, which is totally cool. Totally cool. I get it. I am one of those folks myself. I'm not a huge fan of doing all of the sort of, what this is, like the live thing on social media all the time, because it can kind of be a little weird. And for the past 10 years, what I've been doing, quick little background. So I started this back in 2004. And between 2004 and right around 2010 and 11, I did a lot of live stuff, speaking events, or events all over the place. I travel around with this little posse and things, constantly out there. And then after getting married, and then we had a kid, I realized, you know what, this whole sort of being gone 11 months out of the year really wasn't going to be all that helpful. That's kind of like, crappy husband land. And so I made a pretty radical shift in what I was doing and started to build businesses, not with me as the face like this, but actually built them where I was not the face of the business, or somebody else was the face of the business. And I was sort of acting as the infrastructure and the marketing behind it. So over the course of many years, ended up building out quite a few, let's call them ecosystems. And I have a very specific business model for that, which I can talk about if you would like. But really quickly, let me check on these things and make sure all of this delightfulness is actually cooking along. Let's get on to the... Excellent. All right. We are live now on the Author Platform Rocket. Super cool. I'm not sure why. Let me see here. If I can, captions. I'm going to put this thing on here. This Thursday, I'm going to be doing a live, here, I'm going to turn down the volume so it doesn't sound super weird. But this Thursday, I'm going to be doing a live webinar about a lot of this stuff to really showcase what kinds of things you could be doing right now. And I'll give you an example in just a second of what my wife is even doing during this time, because obviously she is, oh, good, this is working. I like it. There we have it. Perfect. Awesome. So what I'll do is I'll break down, the business model that I was talking about, where if you want to be behind the scenes, totally cool, you absolutely can. And how I was able to launch that, parlay it into a multiple seven-figure business by cloning, using an active cloning. And what I mean by that is you don't necessarily need to take one business and say, scale it up to tons and tons and tons of income. You can take micro businesses essentially and repeat them. And obviously there's pros and cons to each of those things. For example, if your goal is to grow a single massive business, there's a certain framework to that. If your goal is to have just something that you can manage and then sell off. And this is something that I have absolutely no background in. It would be the selling of a business. I've always built them, held on to them. I'm a fan of cash flow. What can I say? However, there is a fellow out there I've been paying a lot of attention to, and I recommend you do the same. His name's Roland Frazier. This dude just kind of like, he knows things. This guy has been around for a long time. He's very into the financing of businesses. And so a lot of things of what he'll do is he'll sort of get in there and look at what's going on with the business and say, oh, this is good, this is not, and then help that business, and then he'll invest in that business and help them kind of get to that next level. So I've been paying a lot of attention to that. I'll be talking a lot more about those things as we, let's see here. And it looks like the chat's open, by the way. Hopefully you can all see that. So if you have questions or anything like that, please throw them in. I'm just going to be having a conversation today about all the kinds of things that we're going to be talking about this coming Thursday. So we go back to the captions, and I'll pop that thing up there. So if you go to scaleyourhustle.com/live-training, I know that's not the easiest URL in the world, and I know that that's probably not going to be able to click on that. But if you type that into your web browser, you'll be able to join me live on Thursday, and it's actually live. I know, shocking, right? Somebody doing a live webinar, but I'm going to be doing a live training now. If you're on the Scale Your Hustle page right now, you probably haven't seen a lot of my live stuff, but if you're on the Author Platform Rocket, you definitely have, and you know the kind of stuff that I put out. So I highly recommend coming in, hanging out, asking questions. I'm going to be going into some very in-depth training about all sorts of shenanigans. First of all, like what's going on right now in the world, how that's affected your business, how that's affected your customers, and what you can do about it, because there's very specific things. And so at the beginning, when I first started going live, I said I would give you some fun, a fun little story of someone who happens to be my wife. And so she is a phenomenal human being. She's always thinking about, okay, how can we pivot? How can we make adjustments? And so she has first of all, she has a full-time job, that kind of thing. So she had a side hustle, I guess you could say, doing what's called charcuterie. Now, this is not the dictionary definition of, say, curing meats and things like that. This is the arrangement, if you will, of cheeses and meats and things like that on a board that she would then take to parties and stuff. So people would hire her to do this. And it was going great. And all of a sudden, hey, look at this, COVID-19, woohoo. And obviously parties are no more right now. Like, we've got a couple of months. And so instead, what she ended up doing was saying, oh, well, okay, we can't have big parties anymore because obviously you don't want to spread this to people. So what if we just did boxes and for 2 to 4 people? Perfect. And so that would be like a pivot, is number one, understand what's going on inside of your marketplace. And with the way that she did that was to realize that, oh, I can't, not doing big parties. The mindset isn't there. The customer demand isn't there for that. However, people are going to get bored. They're probably going to, they're going to want to experience something fun and exciting. So she does porch delivery now for these specific boxes in that specific way. And it's fantastic. She's done, full business wide, I believe it's over $15,000 now in a very short period of time, which is freaking phenomenal. Super awesome. And I'll give you another example of how to make a pivot. So say, for example, you are a personal trainer or something like that. And this is actually one of my favorite ones because I've spoken to and worked with so many different personal trainers. Is there's under normal circumstances, you have a geographic limitation with your business. So if you're a local personal trainer like that, or if you're doing something with anything local. And so with what's going on right now, this is actually a phenomenal opportunity to not only expand your business, but also stay on top of your existing customers in a really fun and cool way. So this is how you'd be able to make a pivot in that regard. Obviously, you're not going to get a bunch of people hurling themselves at you to, go and jump in the gym. That's just not a thing that we're doing for the next couple of weeks. No problem. Let's take a page out of what's happening right now. I'm live streaming. I'm not doing a big live event. This is just us hanging out, having a little chat. What if instead of, say, pausing or canceling everybody, you're like, listen, we're gonna make an adjustment. Rather than come to the gym, we're going to start doing workouts at home. And you jump on something like, let's say, Zoom, which is very inexpensive, and it would be free to your customers. And so you would pay something to the tune of maybe $40 a month, I want to say, and that would give you enough to be able to go and work with, I think it's 300 people or something to that effect, and start doing that every single day. And what you would work on is you would have your workout routine, and then you would have some sort of mindset stuff. And what it really opens you up to is to be able to actually expand your business even further, because you're going to be able to then offer some one-on-one stuff. So you can make small adjustments in what you're doing, get in front of more people, completely eliminate the geographic boundaries, and end up doing more business than you normally would if you were still doing the normal business you do. Hopefully that makes sense. And like I said, if you could throw What's going on? I see Scale Your Hustle. Got some folks here. Author Platform Rocket. Good to see you. Hope you're having fun. And if you have any questions and stuff like that on marketing, business models, all that kind of fun stuff, let me know. I'm totally 100% down to hang out today and work with all y'all. See what we've got going on here. Excellent. And this is fun. I have to keep checking on my phone here to make sure that this is really working. But if you are curious, I'm on the restream.io. This is, I got to tell you, I found this tool. Love it. I'm able to go live on multiple Facebook pages, Twitter, YouTube, and soon it will be LinkedIn. So that's super awesome. But like I was saying, we're going to be talking about today just some basic ideas on how you can start to scale your business, even bigger than it was before all of this crazy stuff happened. Because this is going to be going on for another couple weeks. And I know that the governments and things like that are trying to help people with funding. But the reality is, if you wait for the government to help you, it's going to be too little too late. And so we kind of need to help ourselves at this point. And so I want to be able to come on here, talk to y'all about this. I've been doing business development, coaching, consulting, and just growing my own ecosystems for well over 15 years now. So I can probably help you out if you have any questions. But like I said, the way to do it now, and I was given the example of what my wife had done, and then some personal trainers that I've been seeing. So also with yoga, it's great. So any kind of situation that would require you to be in a room with another person, take it online, do the room like this, have this kind of conversation. There's nothing wrong with that at all. All right, really quickly, let me check on, awesome. Taking a look at Periscope here. And it's interesting, I am one of the folks who has not been on Twitter in forever. So being able to simulcast across all of this has been really, really helpful. Just because I never basically engage with Twitter. All right, let's see what we do here. There we go. The chat is ready to display messages. Click on a message to show it on the screen. Let's see here. There we go. So that's what's coming up this Thursday. So if you go to scaleyourhustle.com/live training, I'm going to be going over a pretty in-depth breakdown of how to identify what's going on with your customers right now. And then from that, how you can, in a really cool way, get in front of them and stay in front of them. Because the biggest mistake people are going to make right now is to stop marketing. You absolutely do not want to do that. Do not shut down the marketing engine. Do not shut down lead acquisition. You want to change the messaging 100%. This is not business as usual. I think we can all agree this is definitely not business as usual. But you do not want to stop it, because if you stop it, problems will happen. So like I said, you want to definitely make some pivots and make some changes and all sorts of fun things. And by the way, get on TikTok. I got to tell you, I'm really having a good time on that particular platform. And I know that, so I check this thing out here. I know that folks look at that and kind of go, really, isn't that for kids? It's absolutely not. And hopefully you read the article that I published on LinkedIn and the blog. But TikTok right now is very much it's a huge opportunity. It's this kind of opportunity that YouTube was about 10 years ago and Facebook was about the same time period, because it is completely open. And so if you looked at the stats of that, just as of September of last year, which was just a couple of months ago, only about 9% of Americans were using TikTok. That's pretty sparse. And so what happens with that is it allows you to jump in there, first of all, figure it out. Because I am not a TikTok expert. I am telling you right now, I'm not a TikTok guru at all. I'm in the process of growing my market growing my platform on that as well. And so I'm not going to give you any tips on how to do it because I'm myself learning. But what I will tell you is that if you jump in there and start doing it now, the two big things that you're going to take away from this. Number one, it's going to be what I like to call this whole micro entertainment or micro education, which is the ability to deliver a really, really, really punchy message in somewhere between 15 to 60 seconds. This is a skill that every single person is absolutely going to want to develop. Absolutely develop this. And the reason why you want to do that is because that's really where the attention is. And that's how a lot of people are starting to consume content. And so longer form things, they're going to be like an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is, super lengthy podcasts and things. People are kind of starting to lean more toward this. Just give me the one thing, and they're kind of moving off, sort of stuff. So if you can learn to communicate like that, and this is part of what we're going to be going over on the webinar. So if you want to join me live this Thursday, you can go to scaleyourhustle.com/live-training. I think the thing's still on it is for me. I don't know if it is for you. But what we're going to be going over is how exactly to market yourself right now. So it's not just the marketing, it's also the business model that you will be able to get into. Cool? Awesome. All right. So I'm having fun just kind of going live today. Let me see here really quickly. And if you have questions, throw them into the little comment box right there. And I want to see if they pop up on my particular screen. And this Thursday, like I said, yeah, we're going to be definitely doing some fun stuff on this live webinar. It is a live webinar. That means I will be there, hopefully wearing a different outfit, because I seem to have 2 of them at this point. And 1.5 of them are a black shirt. All right. Give me just a moment here. Awesome. And welcome, everybody. Seriously, glad to see you here. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday and all that kind of stuff as we all have the delightful time of self-quarantining. And if you are on the author-facing thing, feel free to ask me any questions you want. We're going to be hanging out here for a few more minutes. This was just one of those things where I wanted to pop on, say what's up. There we go. Google's prompting me to enter my username and password. Let's see what we've got with the good old Periscope. Interesting. This is really crazy. Like I said at the beginning, I've never been much of a Twitter person, but this tool is very much letting me do this stuff in just an incredible kind of way. And it's ridiculously affordable. I'm very impressed by it. Awesome. Excellent. So yeah, if you're on Twitter, definitely toss some stuff in there. Checking out for people. I'm going to also try this in a group here in a little bit, possibly with the Author Marketing Association and the Scale Your Hustle group. So if you're not in there, it's very small. I think I fired it up yesterday, kind of thing. So we will see what we see when we see it. Awesome. All right. I'm going to kill this thing off for now. And you can check out the Scale Your Hustle group. And then for those of you just joining us, there will be a live training this Thursday. I'm going to go super in depth on the business models and then the marketing techniques and how to pivot so that you're going to be able to stay in front of people with all of the crazy stuff going on. So you can go to scaleyourhustle.com/ I should just change that to live. That'd be a lot easier. Maybe I'll do that. But yeah, I'll be seeing you. All right, let's kill this thing.